Hello again, kiddos. I told you that chapter 1 was coming. So before I start, a couple things. Number 1, I don't have the actual book in front of me because I can't get back into our classroom right now since school is closed. So I'm doing the next best thing. I'm using my cell phone. So if you see me looking down or around or whatever, it's because I'm trying to read my phone. Also, I'm going to post a link to this on Google Classroom. So if you watched the first couple videos on our channel, you know how to get there. I'm going to post this on there so that while we're reading, you can follow along with us. I think you guys will really enjoy that. But I wanted to get that out of the way so that you're like, what the heck is Miss Carp looking at? I don't have the actual book in front of me. I'm using my phone. Also, second thing to get out of the way, we have some visitors. Mickey and Minnie decided to come and say hello. Also, who decided to come and say hello? The director behind the scenes. Grandma. Okay, let's get right into chapter 1. So, this book does not title the chapters, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. It titles them after the chapter itself, like what the chapter is about. So, chapter 1 is called The Witching Hour. Sophie couldn't sleep. A brilliant moonbeam was slanting through a gap in the curtains. It was shining right onto her pillow. The other children in the dormitory had been asleep for hours. Sophie closed her eyes and lay quite still. She tried very hard to doze off. It was no good. The moonbeam was like a silver blade slicing through the room onto her face. The house was absolutely silent. No voices came up from downstairs. There were no footsteps on the floor above either. The window behind the curtain was wide open, but nobody was walking on the pavement outside. No cars went by on the street. Not the tiniest sound could be heard anywhere. Sophie had never known such a silence. Perhaps, she told herself, this was what they called the witching hour. The witching hour, somebody had once whispered to her, was a special moment in the middle of the night when every child and every grown-up was in a deep, deep sleep, and all the dark things came out from hiding and had the world to themselves. The moonbeam was brighter than ever on Sophie's pillow. She decided to get out of bed and close the gap in the curtains. You got punished if you were caught out of bed after lights out. Even if you said you had to go to the lavatory, that was not accepted as an excuse, and they punished you just the same. But there was no one about now. Sophie was sure of that. She reached out for her glasses that lay on the chair beside her. They had steel rims and very thick lenses, and she could hardly see a thing without them. She put them on, then slipped out of her bed and tiptoed over to the window. When she reached the curtain, Sophie hesitated. She longed to duck underneath them and lean out of the window to see what the world looked like now that the witching hour was at hand. She listened again. Everywhere it was deathly still. The longing to look out became so strong she couldn't resist it. Quickly, she ducked under the curtains and leaned out the window. In the silvery moonlight, the village street she knew so well seemed completely different. The houses looked bent and crooked, like the houses in a fairy tale. Everything was pale and ghostly and milky white. Across the road, she could see Mrs. Rance's shop, where you bought buttons and wool and bits of elastic. It didn't look real. There was something dim and misty about that, too. Sophie allowed her eye to travel further and further down the street. Suddenly, she froze. There was something coming up the street on the opposite side. It was something black, something tall and black. Something very tall and very black and very thin. Chapter 2 coming soon. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to check out Google Classroom so that you can see the story on your own. And don't read ahead. That's cheating. Miss Carp out.